Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for checking in. I'm Gage. I'm the owner of Woody. Right now I'm going to go over what Woody is now, what Woody's been, and then a little backstory on why his name is Woody. And then we'll leave Gwen up for the next whenever Dad comes home and he can introduce who Gwen is. So I'm the owner of Woody. Woody 2, technically, is a 97 Trans Am. Started out as a 2000 Firebird, which is the front end clip on 97. Woody 2. Started out as a 2000s Firebird, 3.8 with the T5 trans. When we got it, the transmission was actually in the trunk, not in the car, so it was almost just a roller. Quarter panels in the back were shot, all messed up, looked like a forklift came in and pinched it in on the sides. For some reason, the rear hatch looks like it was been replaced. And then, transmission was in the trunk, drive shaft was in the trunk. The engine was complete, but nothing was behind it. So I picked that up about 2 years ago now, brought it home, back named a Woody. When we started digging through the car, I had a few guys help me out. They pushed the car off the trailer into the garage. When we started going through it, it had a bunch of like 24-ounce Natty Daddies, Mountain Dew cans in the back, Busch Light, like the cheapest beer you could buy. It had a booster seat in the back, and then it had Woody as a toy figure, right? So I had Woody, and I think I have some pictures. I'll link some pictures down. I'll slide through some pictures while I'm talking. But it was... Woody was in the car, and the guy was like, you got to name it Woody. Like, you have to name it Woody, like Woody from Toy Story, and you have to keep with it. So it's been Woody ever since, and I don't ever plan on changing it. But yeah, so we started out with the 3.8. We got it home. The next morning, I was in the engine, or that night, we brought it home. I spent about 4 hours cleaning the carpet out, cleaning out the seats. You can tell it was a smoker vehicle. It was just absolutely disgusting. And spent about 4 hours tearing out the insides, cleaning everything. Next morning, went straight to the engine bay. Started working out, trying to see what was wrong with it. Would it just turn over? Can I just start it and it'd be good to go? Or what was going on? Figured out that the ignition control module, the ICM on them, that wire harness in the back had just been hacked up. Someone cut through, put a bunch of those little Harbor Freight clips in it, and then pinch clips, try to pinch everything together. It looked horrendous. Plugged in some wires, figured out what was going on. ICM was bad, went to a junkyard, pulled one off. That was a 02 Firebird, so same thing. Pulled one off of there, put it in, and it fired up. Fired up after that, but it wouldn't keep idle. It wouldn't stay idling, so I had to keep throttling it to keep it running. Put the transmission on it, put everything on it, put it on jack stands, go to put it in gear, nothing. No gears, no reverse, no forward, no nothing. So at that point, I was like, well, I know at the end state I want it to be an LS swap. So I went ahead, started pulling the engine, took the transmission back out, sold all the drivetrain from the old one, found an LS1K member from the factory, put that in. My dad let me, it's borrowed, but he let me use a 5.3 that he had at a shop up on 28th Street, Go Fast. He had one stored there. He let me take that. And then he had an old Turbo 350. Well, that's not his, but that's what it was. He let me have that, and I ran that for about 6 or 8 months. That worked out fine. And then it got to the point where I started to do upgrades on the air. I wanted to do upgrades in the engine bay. I wanted to get a line lock in so I could do some burnouts pretty easily when I'm going on the strip. I wanted to move the alternator because I was at that point running the truck accessories, which wouldn't clear the hood. So I wasn't running a hood. So I wanted to move the alternator. The alternator bracket that I got had different clearances. That was for an LS1 water pump. I was running the truck water pump. So I had to change out the water pump. So I used my dad's old LS1 water pump. Well, I had to get a new balancer because the truck balancer was different than the LS1. So at that point, it turned into, okay, if I'm going to spend all this money on the engine bay, I at least want something that, like, will stop water from the back, because the other Woody one's quarter panels were so bad. So I started looking on the Facebook. I ended up finding a 97 Trans Am. Was a project. The guy had it for about 3-ish years, never touched it. Always was saying, I'm going to get to it, I'm going to get to it. Never got to it. Went there, talked with him, figured out what was going on with it, and then I bought it. 97 Trans Am, so that's what Woody is now. So the back end's a 97 Trans Am with the O2 front end Firebird clip on it. So that winter would have been last winter. So winter of 2022, I started tearing down. Yeah, winter 22, I started tearing down everything. I pulled both engines in my driveway. Well, one was on the grass, one was in the driveway. I pulled both of them out, threw everything that I could in the garage, and then I had one really, really nice, fine piece of lawn equipment that just, the first Woody just sat in the yard. Honestly, just sat in the yard, and it was gross. There was a few complaints from the HOA saying that I need to get rid of it. It needs to be moved. It needs to have all the front end clip back on it. It needs to be able to run and drive, register, tags, and everything. And at that point, I brought it to a scrap yard. I said, all right, I'm done with it. So now we have a 97 Trans Am body with most O2 accessories on it. Or I'm sorry, 2000. So I have 2000. I've got the front clip. I've got the doors from the Firebird. I got the cloth seats from the Firebird. And then I'm running the dash from the Firebird. It doesn't make any difference in the dash, but there's no dash in there. But that was the original Woody 1. Now I'm on Woody 2. Nothing bad happened to Woody 1. It just didn't like the quarter panels. Wasn't really loving the look of it, so I just decided to get a new one. But that winter I did some minor engine upgrades. We put a cam in it. Some lifters, new springs. The whole engine basically got rebuilt. New pistons, Gen 4 rods. Nothing too fancy in there. I stripped out everything that I didn't need. Try to pop the hood for you guys. Alright, so here's what we're working with. Right, so we have a stock bottom end 5.3. Just some aftermarket flat top pistons. What else? We got the cam, lifters, TBSS intake. We're running decapped flex fuel injectors on a Holly Terminator. 102 throttle body with an adapter in there. And then, let's see, we got some custom fuel rails to fit. I don't think you can see the emblem. Probably not, but yeah, some custom fuel rails for the TBSS intake. They run off the Terminator. Nothing else too fancy. We got a line lock. I do have this is behind this is a Turbo 400 with the trans brake in it. There's a bunch more details on it. I bought it from a guy down in Tennessee who he also has a Trans Am, but his is a lot faster than mine. He upgraded his. He just had this one rebuilt. Wanted one with more power, so he sold this one. I ended up picking it up. A little inspiration from Ugly Stepchild. We're running the same rims that she originally started with. In the rear, in the front, I still got these uglies. Just because I've got some 17 by 4.5s downstairs. But the tire that's on them, it's too tall. So it hits on both sides. So all I got to do is go get a new tires for them. And then those can get put on. But we've been down the track one time. And that one time on an 8th mile, I think we ran like low 9s. We were stuttering the whole way down the track. It sounded like rain. I think we found out the issue. I think one of the injectors weren't fully decapped all the way, and that was where I was getting my lag at the top end. And then the second time I went to go back to the track, the Turbo 350 started leaking trans fluid. So at that point, I put away the Turbo 350 and put the Turbo 400 in. Here's the interior. Nothing too fancy. NRG quick release. This is a borrowed shifter from Precision Performance. That's my dad's. He's not using it currently, so I'm borrowing it, along with his torque converter. Those two will be returned. I'll be getting new ones here this winter, so that's going to be an upgrade. The 3.5 dash here, oil pressure, tachometer. This is going to get redone hopefully this winter as well. I'm going to do a custom gauge setup. Decided not to go with a Holley 5-inch screen just because I don't want all electronics in here. We got a kill switch in the back because I'm not too good at the digitals. But yeah, my own switch panel, or an Amazon switch panel to run everything. Yeah, nothing too fancy. Well, that's the interior of Woody. That's what we got running so far. I'm hoping to get down a quarter-mile track sometime here in the near future. We do have a drag and drive event in spring that we are prepping for. Drop the Hammer with my Uncle Carl Stansel. He's going to be hosting, so we're going to try to get on that. We're going to try to get Woody to go down the track and drive to another tracks and go down those tracks and make it all back. Honestly, I'm not looking to be too fast, to be honest. I'm just looking to completely finish the race day, and I'll be happy with that. But yeah, that's Woody. We don't call it Woody 2.0 anymore. It's just Woody. It's just been Woody since I've scrapped the first one. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about Woody, anything that's been done to it, throw it down in the comments. I'll be sure to get back with you guys, let you know what's going on without it. And now we're just waiting on the introduction from Gwen. Thanks. We'll see you guys around.